Yes, hello. We're here to talk about the RO 1000 series. You've just purchased it and you need to hook it up. So the first thing you need to do is undo the clamp of the membrane. Take that bolt out, take the other one, remove the cap off, and take your new membrane, which comes with the machine, insert it into the tube all the way to the bottom, and add the cap to the top, put your clamp back on, and if you have a 200 series, a 200 gallon, you're going to have two membranes to do, and a 100 only has one. So once you've done that, the RO is basically all set, ready to go. You're going to add a pre-filter, which is this little cartridge 20-inch filter. Insert it into there. Thread the filter on. Now your machine is ready for production, except for the fact that you do need to hook it up yet. So your feed line, in this case we have our sap feed coming from the outside. Sap feed. This is the hot wash cycle feed, feeding the feed pump. And this one is the cold water feed, feeding the feed pump. So permeate water feeds your feed pump. So that's the same thing for your cold water rinse and concentrate flush. So hooking all that up is good. On your after it's gone through the RO, it will come through your flow meters and come out two hoses out the back. You're going to want two valve panels. One on the left is your concentrate valve panel. The one on the right is your permeate or filtrate valve panel. The feed comes in here and you have your choice of concentrate tank, wash tank, drain, etc. You can choose to go wherever you want to go. Same thing with the filtrate. Plumbing needs to be so that when you are washing in a cold water rinse, you need to be able to plumb that to the drain. And when you're doing a hot wash, this line here and this line brings it into the hot wash cycle. So it needs to be plumbed so you can do all three functions. After that's all completed, you are ready to start. This pressure switch here is the actual start and stop function, so you're going to lift it part ways up, hold it there until your pressure reaches at least 20 psi. At that point, the motors will stay running. Once they're running and your pressure has reached 40, 45 psi, now you can take your top concentrate valve and slowly close it and watch your concentrate flow meter is all the way up to the top. As you close it down, you will see it start to slide down the ramp and your permeate or filtrate will start to rise. And also your pressure will rise up to close to 300 psi. So in that event, I think that's close to what we're ready to do right now. We're going to make sure we're bringing sap. So our water supply is shut, hot water supply is shut, the sap valve is open, and we're going to make sure the concentrate is going to where we want to go. Now we're ready for some noise. Air out of the system, so now it's stabilized. We've reached our 20. We can now start choking the top valve down. So We're going to see how this pressure starts rising. This one also rises. Now watch this concentrate flow meter. It's now starting to drop. Now we're starting to concentrate sap. The filtrate is disappearing. And in the case of a 200-gallon machine, it should be set at approximately 1 gallon, and this one will run at roughly 2 gallons a minute in a high pressure at 300. So if this pressure gauge after 5 hours of operation starts to drop, that tells me the filter is starting to plug down here and your primary pressure is dropping off. It needs to be replaced so you can get your pressure back. The machine is running fine. We're now going to make sure that this wash tank is filled with filtrate. So in order for us to do that, we open our valve panel and we fill this wash tank so that we have water, pure water to work with to do our hot wash cycle. Once that is filled to the top, you can shut down this valve and push your water to drain. You don't need it. I should rephrase that. You do need 200 gallons of water stored in a water tank somewhere beside the machine to do the concentrate flush and your cold water rinse. So after the sap production day is done and you have concentrated all your sap, the machine will automatically stop. It has a low pressure shutdown which automatically stops it. Then you will stop your sap flow because your sap tank is empty. You will open up your permeate tap. Now you're feeding the pump with permeate coming from your 200-gallon storage tank of permeate. We now open up this valve and we're going to do what we call a concentrate flush. That means these membranes are full of 8% sap, so we want to flush that into our concentrate tank. So we're not changing any valves here. We're simply going to carry on and do 1 minute of concentrate flush. So the same way, you start the pump and you let it run for 1 minute. Now the machine has gone through the concentrate flush. You can stop it. We're still bringing in permeate water, but we're changing our valves from concentrate tank to drain. Now, in this particular case, this is the drain. So now if we start it, it just goes to drain. And you're going to do that for 20 minutes. After the 20-minute cycle is over, and that could be either your 200 gallons or maybe you're ready to go to bed. But after 20 minutes, you shut it down, and we now go into the hot wash cycle. And the only difference there is we now close our permeate supply, and we open our hot wash water supply. We're now going to turn these valves to wash. Now we can start the machine, and it's a closed loop, so it draws it from this wash tank, runs it through the membranes, back to the wash tank in a closed loop cycle. It takes approximately 4 to 5 hours and now it's gone through all the wash cycle, and it's done the next morning when you come back ready for a concentrate cycle.